The wind hit like a slap when Silas Kane pushed open the gate. It groaned on rusted hinges, louder than it should have been, loud enough to wake something buried. He stepped through, boots crunching on frostbitten gravel, eyes scanning the warped porch of the Galloway Ranch. The lawyer hadn't mentioned the piano. Faint notes drifted from inside, slow, broken, bleeding through the boarded windows like a memory half-remembered. Shenandoah played soft and clean. Silas unfastened the leather strap on his holster. He climbed the porch stairs. Every step complained. The front door stood half ajar, wind fluttering the edge of a yellowed curtain inside. That smell, wood smoke, old paper, something sweet like rot. He pushed the door inward with 2 fingers. A room, dim-lit. Dust motes hung in the air like ghosts too tired to leave. Furniture covered in linens, corners caved with time. And there, at the far end, an upright piano, black as coal, scarred down the side like it had taken a bullet and lived. She was playing it. A woman. Red hair tangled at her shoulders, hands ghosting the keys like she wasn't touching them at all. Back to him, barefoot, still as a statue. Silas didn't speak. He just aimed. The music stopped. She turned slowly, eyes the color of desert storms. No fear, no apology, just silence. "This is my house," she said. "No," Silas replied. "It's mine. Bought it this morning." She blinked, stood up from the piano. The boards didn't creak under her feet. "How much?" He held up a silver dollar. "From a lawyer too drunk to remember his own name." She tilted her head. "Then you bought a lie." The wind hit the walls again, harder this time. Silas stepped inside, letting the door shut behind him. "Lady, I buried 3 brothers in the war and 2 sons after it. I didn't come here for ghosts." Her eyes flicked to his revolver. "Then why's your hand still on that gun?" He paused, let fall to his side. A moment stretched long between them. Finally, she turned her back again and sat. "You can have the upstairs room," she said, fingers resting on the keys once more. "But if you hear the barn doors open after midnight, don't look." Silas stared. "You expect me to share this place with you?" "No," she pressed a key. A single note rang out. "I expect you to listen." The wind died. Silas walked to the hearth and dropped his bag. The fire was cold, but someone had laid wood. He lit it without asking. And behind him, the music began again. The hammer click echoed through the parlor. "I said drop it," Cass growled. Silas froze, hands in the air. The cold in her grip didn't tremble. Its muzzle pointed straight at his chest. "I was just checking the cellar," he said, calm as creek water. "Something's been digging under the west fence. Figured maybe you kept traps." Her finger hovered over the trigger. "You don't open that door. It's a cellar, not a coffin." She stepped closer. "You think I'm playing house here? This land's not safe. Wasn't safe before you got here, and sure as hell ain't now." Wind slammed against the side of the house. The lantern swung on its hook, casting warping shadows. Silas held her eyes, then slowly stepped back, both hands visible. Cass lowered the hammer, but not the gun. "You always this friendly with new neighbors?" he muttered. "I don't have neighbors." She holstered the pistol, then turned to the piano again like nothing had happened. He watched her run her fingers across the ivory, dry, slow. Not playing, remembering. He rubbed his temples. "You ever sleep?" "Only when it rains." The next morning brought smoke. The barn was half ablaze when Silas saw it. He ran, boots hammering frozen ground, grabbed the pump from the well and doused what he could, but it was too late. The hayloft collapsed in on itself with a groan, the roof folding like paper. Cass arrived second, rifle in hand, eyes scanning the ridgeline behind the pasture. "Ride marks," she said. Silas followed her stare. Faint trails, hoofprints curving down, then disappearing into the scrub. "They come at night?" he asked. She nodded once. "You said you were guarding this place." Cass crouched beside a blackened support beam, fingers brushing ash. "I was. Still am." "For who?" She didn't answer. They buried the rifleman 2 nights later. Cass had shot him clean through the throat. 1 round, no hesitation. They found him slumped behind the mesquite, rifle still in his lap, eyes wide like he'd seen hell before he dropped. Silas said nothing while she wrapped the body in canvas and dragged it out past the fence line. She didn't ask for help. By morning, he found her on the porch, watching the sun climb over the rocks. Rifle across her knees. Same red hair, but something in her shoulders had shifted, tighter now like rope pulled too hard. He sat beside her, slow, careful. "You lost someone," he said finally. She didn't look at him. Everyone loses someone. He nodded. "Brother?" She didn't speak. "Lover?" Still nothing. The wind picked up again, pulling her hair back from her face. "Name was Eli," she said at last. "They hung him from the sycamore tree down by the creek. Thought I'd burn this place down after." Silas looked out at the smoldering barn. "Guess they beat you to it." Cass stood, slung the rifle over her shoulder. "No," she said, walking back inside. That was just the beginning. Silas slammed the drunk lawyer against the saloon wall, wood groaning with the impact. "You sold me stolen land." The man choked, eyes wide, boots slipping on the sawdust-covered floor. The piano in the corner fell silent. Cards froze mid-play. No one moved. I didn't know," the lawyer stammered. "Didn't ask questions, just pushed the paper. Got paid, that's all." "Who paid you?" Silas growled. The man's lips split as he tried to answer. "Blackthorn. Colt Blackthorn." Silas let go. The lawyer crumpled, wheezing, the crowd already pretending not to have seen anything. Outside, the sun scorched the dust to smoke. Silas spat and mounted his horse. By the time he reached the ranch, Cass was gone. The front door hung off its hinges. Shattered glass glittered across the parlor floor. The piano keys were cracked, wood torn, as if someone had tried to rip the soul out of it. The air stank of sweat and gun oil. A bloody handprint streaked across the staircase rail. He followed the trail to the barn. Nothing. No Cass. No body. Just silence, and the echo of hooves vanishing west. He saddled up again. Fallen Bluff's main street was quiet. Too quiet. The Blackthorn riders lounged on the saloon porch, rifles leaning against barrels, boots on crates like they owned the place. Colt Blackthorn stood at the center, tall, clean-shaven, dark vest stitched with red thread. A silver revolver on each hip. He smiled like a banker, not a killer. "Silas Kane," he said. "Come for a refund? You took her." Colt chuckled. "We reclaimed what was ours. That woman's been squatting on gold-rich land for 3 years. Don't reckon you knew that when you bought the place for $1. Silas didn't blink. "I came for Cass." Colt tilted his head. "Oh, you mean Red Cass? Bounty hunter? Killer of 12 in Carrion Creek? That Cass." The men around him laughed, low and dirty. "She ain't yours to save," Colt said. "No," Silas muttered, stepping off his horse, hand at his belt. "She's yours to fear." The laughter faded. Colt's smile shrank. "You think one man's going to stop us?" he asked. Silas turned toward the hills behind town. The ridge caught the evening sun, glowing red. Nothing moved until it did. A figure on horseback, black silhouette against the dying light. Cass. She rode slow, straight, rifle across her lap, wide-brimmed hat low over her eyes. Blood on her sleeve. Fire in her silence. Colt's men shifted. Fingers twitched near triggers. Silas backed away. "I'm not the fight you should be worried about," he said. Colt drew his gun. The rifle fired once. Colt dropped, one eye gone, gun still in its holster. The others scattered, cursing, running for cover. Silas watched as Cass dismounted, dust trailing behind her like smoke off a cannon. "Welcome back," he said. She didn't answer. She walked past him, toward the saloon, toward the rest of them. Like a storm finally come home. The last Blackthorn rider dropped to his knees, blood seeping through his vest. His rifle clattered to the dirt. Cass stood 20 paces away, smoke curling from the barrel of her Winchester, breath steady as stone. Fallen Bluff was silent. Not a dog barked. Not a curtain twitched. The saloon door hung open, swinging gently in the dry wind. Colt Blackthorn lay where he fell, face down, dust caked in the gore behind his temple. No one dared move his body. No one dared move at all. Silas leaned against the water trough, arms crossed, watching Cass reload. One shell at a time. Click. Slide. Snap. "You baited him," he said. She didn't look at him. Didn't have to. They were always coming. Just needed him all in one place. "You used me." She nodded once. Didn't lie about it. The hammer clicked back into place. The rifle rested against her shoulder. Her eyes scanned the street like she was still hunting. A child peeked out from behind a barrel. Cass's gaze landed on her. The girl ducked away. "They think you're a ghost," Silas said. "A legend with a rifle and red hair." Cass looked at him now, eyes sharp but tired. "They burned Eli alive for a deed he wouldn't sell. Took everything we had. They wanted me to disappear. You did. I wanted him to forget me." Silas glanced at the bodies. "Don't think that's going to happen now." She gave the faintest smirk, but it died quick. The sun was sliding behind the ridge, throwing the town into gold and shadow. Cass walked to her horse, cinched the saddle. "You staying?" Silas asked. "No. You own it now." She paused, pulled the deed from her coat, folded it twice, and handed it to him. "So do you?" He took it, confused. She mounted up. "Where you headed?" Cass looked west. Her eyes narrowed, like she was already gone. "Someplace they ain't heard of me." He nodded once, fingers tightening around the paper. "You're good at disappearing." She smiled without warmth. "That's the problem." Her horse stepped forward, hooves thudding softly down the street. "Cass," Silas called. She reined in, glancing back. He nodded toward Colt's body. "You could have left long ago." "I did," she said. "But ghosts don't rest until they're finished." Then she was gone, dust rising behind her like a memory. And from the porch of the general store, the old man in the rocker, same one who told this tale, took a long pull from his pipe. "Some say she was a myth. Some say she never left that ranch. Me? I reckon she's out there somewhere, watching, waiting. And if you ride into Fallen Bluff talking loud, best keep your back to a wall." He laughed low soft, "'Cause if you see a flash of red hair and don't hear the shot, you're already dead."